Hello everybody, it's Joe from JLW Games, coming at you with another cool video, and today we're back in Westwood, of course in Planet Coaster, and today we are going to be working on a little bit more of the Invention Company. And to get things started, I decided to go ahead and create just a little bit of a perimeter fence around the B&M sit-down, or the B&M floorless coaster rather. Because it needed a fence around it, because we don't want guests wandering off into the perimeter of the ride and getting struck by the coaster itself. That wouldn't be very realistic and very good for the company. So we're going to create these large perimeter fences around the barrier of the ride, and just make sure that no one gets into there. We're going to be adding a lot of different stuff within this section as well. We're going to be adding today we're going to be adding a new flat ride. We're going to be working on the station a little bit more for the B&M, and we're also going to be adding a flat ride. We're working on the B&M flat ride and a couple of buildings here and there. I think we only actually build one building, and that's my goal, is to try to build a building, at least one building in every episode. And by the time we get done with the series, maybe we'll have enough buildings to fill up the park. So I do a little bit of the perimeter fence, and I go off because I like to go back and forth from different things. And one thing I wanted to try out is actually making some custom fences for the queue line, so I can get rid of the in-game fences on the queue line itself. That way I can have some custom fences, nice little wooden fences that will actually match the theme quite nicely and very well in this little covered section here. I think it'll be really, really cool. We don't do the entire thing because I don't like to do the exact same thing for like hours on end. I like to move on to different things every so often. I think it makes things just a little bit easier to work with, and it just makes stuff, more exciting for me. It keeps my attention span a little bit better when I'm working on different things every so often. I can't work on the same thing for like ever. It just gets a little bit boring after a while. So I do have to move on to different things. So I don't completely finish all of these fences down here, because there is quite a bit to do, and I got new ideas for the queue line. I want to make certain spots, a certain part, kind of look a little bit like a laboratory kind of for the scientist, the crazy scientist and stuff. So we want to create some nice scenery objects around the queue line. I think it will be really, really nice and really awesome. I also add a triggered event on the coaster itself, which you'll see me trying to fiddle with for the longest time, and then I feel really dumb that I fiddled with it for the longest time, and it was actually more simple than I thought it was going to be. So that's how that works out, and you'll see in just a little bit. Now once we get to that, I'll explain a little bit more. But yeah, these fences looking really cool, and there's a lot to do, and I just do about, I think, just those 3 rows for right now. And we move on to some better things, and that is working on the station just a little bit more. I had to plug in, or just kind of like get rid of those little holes in the wall, because they were just kind of annoying, and we don't want those there, and we got to work on other things as well. I wanted to build like a nice little fence, kind of a fence that's very similar to what we did just a moment ago on the dock itself. And you see a lot of this on some B&Ms and stuff like that. You see a fence here, or kind of like a fence and exit gate, and the rest of the dock is on the other side of the fence, so they can keep the dock clear before dispatching the train and stuff like that. It's quite nice. So that's how that's going to go, and you're going to have the operator's booth here. I was thinking about working on the operator's booth and decorating it just a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. And for right now, we're just going to leave it as is at the moment. But as for the station's looking really good, and I was pretty proud of how the station actually turns out in the end. It looks really good, and I'm very, very excited about it. And we also add little lights on the station as well, so at nighttime it doesn't get too dark. And of course, you gotta add a couple of scenery objects here and there to get the feel of this area. And yeah, so it's gonna look really, really nice, and I hope you guys agree with me. And I wanted to add couple windows here to make it look like you could actually look through to the queue line of the section over there, which would be really, really cool. And I wanted to make the interior look a little bit more exciting, so I added a couple of trims. By no means am I done probably with the station. I have a little bit more to do. Just because I'm doing it in the roof doesn't mean that that's where that's going to go. We still have more to do in this station maybe, but we'll see. We'll just see. For the most part, it is finished though, because but you'll see here in just a little bit after I get finish this roof, what we do next is actually a very cool thing that I thought of that was a little bit inspired by something else, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So we just copy this and paste it to the other side. That's always nice to do. So I get to look for these pipes after I place all of the lights here. I actually look for kind of those pipes that are in the scenery that look really cool. And my idea here was to put the pipes over the top of the trains in the station, and they're going to blow out some like steam or like kind of like some mist to give a mist effect as soon as the train starts to move out. Now, my original idea was to actually have the mist start, just before the train leaves, and that's why I had such difficulties with this for the longest time, me trying to figure out how this is going to work. Because I trigger them to where, they would go off as soon as the second train, hit the brake run or something like that, and then they would go off and then that train would go out. I had many timing issues with that, and I figured it was, in the end, I think I just end up putting the trigger right when the train starts to move. That way, it's just a little bit easier, and I don't have to time this out, because I do my best to try and time this out for the longest time, as you see me fiddle with it for like ever. And I don't even know why I was too dumb to figure out that I could have just put the trigger at the very front of the ride, so the mist will come down as soon as the ride starts moving. And you don't really see it when you are sitting in the front row. So I'm thinking about adding more pipes, but I don't want to overdo it. So I think I had like 4 pipes, and they work quite well. So but that's kind of a nice little triggered event that was a little bit actually inspired from Silver City's wildfire, because during the summer they have like this mist that comes from these not really pipes, but they're like above the station. They're right above the track in the station, and as soon as the ride goes out on a hot day, you feel that mist. It actually feels pretty nice during a hot summer day, so it's really nice when they have those on during the summer, because it can cool you off a little bit right when the train starts off. So I thought I would take that little idea a little bit and kind of use it to my own advantage, and I thought it'd be kind of a neat little thing, because this ride is slightly inspired by Wildfire from Silver City, and it's a nice little B&M sit down. This layout is pretty much completely different from it, but as you can tell, kind of like from the color scheme and kind of how it looks, the overall feel of it, it is very inspired by that ride out there at Silver City, so it's quite cool. And again, it has a very different layout. The only thing that's the same is it has a corkscrew and a Cobra Roll. Those are like the only two elements that are the same pretty much. And I guess a vertical loop. Yeah, I said that already. Vertical loop, and then the little pre-drop where it turns and then goes down off the drop. But that's besides the point. All rides are usually inspired by other things that you know of and see. So, but it's really, really cool, and that's a nice B&M floorless. I want to keep saying sit down, but we don't even have that coaster type in the game yet, which I really think we should have that. Just a regular B&M sit down rather than a floorless. That would be very, very nice, especially when I get to my Silver City recreation on Wildfire, because that is a B&M sit down and not a floorless coaster, so that would be really nice. So over here, I was like, well, this would be a great spot for a nice big flat ride, and I thought the Scream and Swing, SNS Scream and Swing would be really nice. Here it's actually called the, what are they called? The Hammer Swing, and Planet Coaster itself, because it's by no means, branded the same. And I was actually pretty proud of this queue line when it comes to building the building, because we actually build a building on we make a covered section on this queue line, and it actually turns out quite nicely. I was thinking about building 2 big structures on the side, kind of like, this, it will make you feel kind of like Silver City-ish, in a way, because I was thinking about putting a barn on it, but I was like, no, that would be too close to Silver Dollar City, so I'll just leave it the way it is and make it like an Invention Swing or something like that. I thought it would fit very well in the Invention Company, making these large swings to entertain guests, or entertain, you know, the tourists that came to Westwood would be entertained, and this is the kind of one of the inventions they came up with. So it's a nice large swing, and it's going to be really, really nice addition to this section of the park. Again, the Invention Company is going to have quite a few flat rides, that is for sure. And when I say quite a few, I mean probably, you know, I don't know, like 5, 6 rides maybe. I don't exactly know. We'll see where we're at. It just kind of depends, you know, it just really depends on everything, you know, like how much space is in the park, what will hold what, you know, is this ride going to be too large for this space over here? But yeah, in this covered area, we just create a very basic, you know, skeleton for the roof here. That way the roof is nice and supported, and looks nice and realistic, and that will look really, really good. Excuse me. So I don't know exactly if I'm going to cover the rest of the queue line for this ride, and it needs a longer queue line, but not like a super long queue line like you would for a roller coaster, you know, because it is a thrill ride, so it will sometimes get some pretty decently long lines, and that will be nice. So another thing that I do want to add maybe in the final details is maybe adding some priority pass lines, and that's going to be some pretty tricky things sometimes for a couple of rides. So we'll see how that turns out, and when we get there. So a lot of people say you need to have priority passes, and you know, a lot of people would pay for that, especially for free rides. Guests are not going to want to mind waiting in line so much. So it's going to be really cool. So we're going to have long lines, so those priority passes will be nice for guests that don't want to wait in line, and if they have the money, they can pay to skip the line, so it'll be really nice. We'll definitely look into that when we get kind of all the rides plopped down, and we're going to figure out exactly how everything's going to turn out. So that will be really, really cool, and I hope you guys are enjoying Westwood, and I cannot wait until this park's done. I really can't. There's a lot to do still, but we are starting to get to the point where the park is almost developed, and that means that we're going to start getting into the final detailing here pretty soon. Once I get, you know, the Invention Company filled up a little bit more, we're going to start getting into the smaller details, and really just detailing the rest of the everything else. So it's going to be really, really cool, and I hope you guys are enjoying the series as much as I am. And when this park is completed, a lot of people have been asking, are you going to make this kind of video, this kind of video, this kind of video? Trust me, there are going to be many videos on this park. I'm proud to reveal that there is going to be obviously a cinematic video. We're going to have a park tour video. We're going to have a grand opening video. And I'm also thinking about doing a documentary video, because there's a little bit part of the story that I've come up with that really gives a history to this park, even though it does not actually exist. So I actually came up with a really cool story that makes it feel more real. It's not real, but I want to make everyone think that it's real, but it really isn't. So if that makes sense, it's kind of a difficult little thing to think about, but it's actually really, really neat. And I hope you guys will enjoy that. And when I say that, like, I guess I can reveal it. So, but anyways, basically the storyline that I came up with for the park itself, the park's history, the reason why it's themed in the 1890s is this plot of land where this park is actually used to be, and this is all fictional, by the way, not actually real. It actually used to be a town called Westwood back in the 1890s, where they actually had, you know, decent population. You know, there was a mine, and, you know, there was a place where they would actually develop, you know, new inventions and stuff that would help with the town and stuff like that. And then after a while, you know, the town actually got attacked for whatever reason that, you know, it's not completely exactly the story all the way developed, but it got attacked and abandoned, and it became a ghost town, and that's where the ghost town section comes from. And now here in 2017, you know, JLW Entertainment finds the land and decides, well, this is a really big piece of history right here. This plot of land that's been sitting here. You know, there's a lot of abandoned buildings. The abandoned town is still here, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. So this is a park literally in the middle of the nowhere is what we're going on. But people will drive out here just to get to this park. I'm very confident in that. So what they did is they renovated a lot of the buildings. Some of them had to be demolished, but they renovated a lot of the buildings. So a lot of the buildings are still here today from the 1890s. So that's where it gets the actual theme. Is it's actually making it a true story. It's not an actual true story, but I'm going to make it sound like it's a true story. So that's kind of the storyline or the history that this park comes from. So its history goes all the way back to 1890s, and now in 2000s, it's going to open back up as a theme park after finding this land after so many years. And JLW Entertainment decides to buy it and create their first theme park out of it, and they thought it was a great opportunity and a great deal. So anyways, that's kind of the storyline and history that this park's gonna have. I thought it was very well thought out. Let me guys know what you guys think in the comments about the storyline for the real life storyline that's not actually real life, if that makes sense. You know, it's all pretend, but we're gonna act like it's real if it was real. I'm kind of trying to think of an area like maybe where it was, like what state it was in and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go that far. But anyways, this is a nice little Pizza Hut building, like a pizza pen actually, Pizza Hut, like a little pizza building for like nice pizza and stuff. It's going to be really, really nice. It's just a little stall, and it looks pretty good. I wanted to make sure every building's starting to get a little bit more detailed from now on. I think it looks really good, and yeah, so I think my building skills are improving a lot, so I want to hear what you guys think. If they are, a lot of people, you guys think so too, so I'm really focusing on little details from now on. But anyways, that's about it I got for you guys for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and make sure you have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time. And goodbye.